Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to be fishing for potentially 100-pound fish. We're talking the freshwater shark of Wisconsin, the biggest freshwater fish in the state. Today marks the first day of the season for our inland sturgeon season. It's only a month long, and we are allowed to catch and release these fish in certain bodies of water during this September here. This particular lake we're going to is part of a river system. I know there's a ton of sturgeon in here. We're gonna launch the boat here in a minute, get out on the water nice and early, beat the crowd, and hopefully put some giants in the boat today. All right, guys, we are on the water. As you can see behind me, it's just starting to get light here, and my buddies are already out here waiting for me. They're going to be fishing probably the same area here, at least this morning, so maybe they'll hook one, maybe I'll hook one, but it's crisp out here. It's like 36, almost frost. Probably is some frost in some lower lying areas, but I'm nice and toasty in my blackfish gear, so no problem there. And it's fall fishing. Let's get after them. There we go, guys. There's our sturgeon bait. Big old glob of night crawlers. And I've got that set up on a 7-foot medium heavy, basically spinning muskie rod with a 4500 Daiwa BG 50-pound braid and 30-pound big game leader. And that's kind of my setup. I'm using a J hook on this rod because what my plan is to actually watch for sturgeon with the live scope and try and pitch this in front of them to get it so they kind of run it over, and try and increase my odds of getting this in front of a fish with live scope. And then I'm just going to soak the other two rods with circle hooks on them and let those fish kind of pick it up and hook themselves. And I'm already seeing sturgeon out here, so they're definitely around. And surprisingly, they actually do suspend quite a bit in the water column. So I've seen some up high, I've seen some on the bottom, but they're here. So until I see one, I'm just going to soak this rod as well. And once I see a fish, I'm going to pitch to it in front of it, try and get it basically to just land in front of that fish so it swims over the top of it and sucks it up. All right, so there's one right under the boat. Big old sturge. There's one on the bottom right there. Let's see, behind the boat. There's one right there under the boat. There's one on the bottom right over here. So they're everywhere. Alright, guys, I've been fishing out in the basin. There's been fish all over the place. Big sturgeon underneath me, but I haven't gotten a bite yet. I put it in front of a bunch of them. I've kind of just let them soak for a while. So my theory is these fish out here aren't feeding very actively. I'm going to move up onto an edge where the hard bottom meets this basin, and hopefully they're feeding along that edge a little bit more actively. So my buddy just caught one, maybe a 40-incher or so, and he's more on an edge as well. So we're gonna go give that a try, and hopefully we can pick up a couple here. I know the midday bite is the best out here, so I'm still pretty hopeful we're gonna land some fish, but we're gonna make a little move. All right, folks, we're hooked up. I'm trying to clear rods here. Oh, we got one on. It's a big one, I think. Oh yeah. Yeah, buddy. You just realized he's hooked now. Oh, that happened fast. So I had moved in a little bit shallower, and I was trying to see if I could find some fish along the edge. Didn't see anything, so I moved back out here because I knew there was fish here. And I wasn't here 15 minutes, and we're hooked up 10 o'clock in the morning on our first sturgeon. Oh yeah, big fish, big fish. Big fish, boys and girls. Yeah, big sturge, baby. Hooked itself on that circle hook, and I've had great luck with circles on fish like this. Now what I did was I tied up about a 7-foot mono leader on here because these things have sharp scoots on the sides. That's like those diamond shaped scales, and they can scuff up your line pretty good. so I put that mono on here for abrasion resistance. Okay, here she is. I'm gonna try and swing her around into the net here. Not quite ready. Getting close though. These fish have a lot of cartilage on them, just like a shark, and they can make some pretty sharp twists and turns. Come on, girl. Come on. Keep your head up. She ain't ready yet. We're gaining on her now, though. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. In the bag. We got her. There she is, guys. What a beautiful animal. She might make 60. We're gonna measure her. There she goes. That is one big fish. Wow. Well, that was super cool, guys. We got that fish measured. I didn't get any of that on film because I did want to get her back in the water quickly, but she was 54 inches, big fish. I'm not sure what she weighed, but I'm pretty sure she's pushing over 50 pounds. And she had a DNR tag, which is really cool. The DNR tags a lot of these sturgeon, and she had a tag in her. So we are gonna take that number and report it to the DNR, and they can kind of maybe even give us an age of the fish or a rough guess of when it was, at least when it was tagged. So we got the lines back out here, and hopefully we can pick up another fish or two. And I'm gonna go over kind of my rig and my setup here with you like I promised. All right, guys, pretty simple setup here. This is what I'm using. I'm using a Premier, St. Croix Premier 7-foot medium heavy Premier musky rod. So this is a musky spinning rod, really heavy duty. I've got a 4500 Daiwa BG on here. It's a big game reel. It can handle big fish, 22 pounds of drag. I'll leave links in the description for both of these. And then I've just got 50-pound braid on here to a 30-pound mono leader, about 6 to 7 feet long. And what that does is it gives me some shock absorption for when these fish jump or head shake. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, so I'm not going straight braid to the fish. Then a swivel and a number 7/0 circle hook on there with a huge gob of night crawlers, probably 7 or 8 crawlers on there. And that is my setup. I'm just casting it out, letting it sit, waiting for those fish to come along and pick it up. Well, guys, I put a couple more hours in and no more bites. I've been seeing tons of fish, but they're just not picking up the bait. So I gotta head out here and speaking of bait, put some bear bait out this afternoon yet. But that was an awesome way to start the sturgeon season here in Wisconsin. Put a 54 in the boat in one morning. That's all you can ask for. One big fish. It's kind of like musky fishing. You know, it's not usually a numbers game, but man, what a special fish. And thanks for watching, guys. Get hooked up. We'll see you next time.